I'm Renee Williams.
And I'm Billy Thomas.
And welcome to another edition of From the Woods Today. You know, Billy, planting trees is something that, we really enjoy doing. And, sometimes, woodland owners are like, okay, how do I plant them? Where do I get these trees? What do I do? So that's one of our topics for today.
I am so excited about today's show, right? Everybody loves trees, right? And we always say here, trees are the answer. But as you said, where do you get trees, and how many different ones are there out there? And oh my, Renee, we've got a great guest today. Charlie Saunders, who works with the Kentucky Division of Forestry. Now, Charlie's been on with us before, but we're going to have Charlie talking about the nursery program through the Kentucky Division of Forestry. And they've got some new things that are coming down. I think you're going to actually be able to get these things ordered online now. So Charlie and his group, we'll look forward to having him on in a minute. We also have Dr. Ellen Crocker, and she's got a pesky plant we need to keep a lookout on. And I'll tell you, Renee, I saw a preview of this plant, and it looks like another plant. So I'll just save that and let others think about, what is that? So Dr. Crocker will help us out identifying that thing. But I'm so delighted to be here and have you all with us today. If you are via Zoom, you can use the chat function, interact with us. And if you're on Facebook Live, please use the comment section. But I'm so glad, Renee, to be talking about trees. It's order trees time. It's great. It's exciting.
It always gets you exciting anytime we talk about trees.
I love it. Yeah, trees are great.
All right. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Charlie, you want to go ahead and turn your camera on, and we will talk to you. Hi, it's nice to see you.
Hello, how are you all?
Hey, Charlie.
I know, woodland owners, they're constant. I know a lot of them, they'll call me up and they'll say, hey, I need 100 trees. I can't go to a nursery for that. Like a spring house nursery or wherever, getting one at a time, so I'm glad to know that there is actually a nursery with the Kentucky Division of Forestry.
Yes, we actually have two nurseries with the Division of Forestry, one in the east and one in the west. If you don't mind, I'm going to turn on and share a PowerPoint with us to kind of show some stuff about the nurseries, where they're located, what we do at the nurseries, some of the problems we have, and hopefully all the details you all want to know about the nurseries.
Wonderful. Go ahead.
Thanks, Charlie. So looking forward to it.
Okay, here we are. Kentucky Tree Nurseries. We have two nurseries. We have a Morgan County Tree Nursery and a John P. Rhodey Tree Nursery. One is located in the east and one is located in the west. Okay, here's a map of the state. As you can see, we have one John P. Rhodey Nursery located on the green dot far to the left side of your screen. And then Morgan County Nursery is located in Morgan County on the east side of the screen. Now, all the stars is the where we have our branch offices, the Division of Forestry. We have 6 branch offices. This is the locations that if anybody wants to put in a order, they can call into the office or mail in their order form, which I will show you at the end of this presentation. Okay, we have some changes in our nursery team. Joanna Phillips, she is the nursery supervisor over top of both the nurseries. I used to hold that position, but I'm glad to pass it along to her. She takes care of all the seed ordering, managing both nurseries, making sure everything's on track, making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do to grow a quality seedling that we strive for. We have Jason Powell. He is at the Morgan County Nursery. He's been there for several years now. He's doing a good job keeping things straight. And then we have a new manager over at John P. Rhodey Nursery, James Armstrong. He was a ranger for the Division of Forestry, and he's moved up to the position to where he is the manager there, taking care of all the processes that are needed to grow quality seedlings. The Nursery Goals, years ago, about 1960, they started a nursery program with the Division of Forestry. This is a truckload of loblolly pine coming off the Morgan County Tree Nursery back in 1964. They since then we've moved from a total pine nursery to a hardwood nursery where we grow 90% of the species is a hardwood species. And then we also have white pine, loblolly, shortleaf, and Virginia pine that we grow. The goals for the nursery, as everybody knows, is to grow a shippable seedling. A shippable seedling is a seedling that we know will survive once it leaves the nursery, and the person and the landowner or the customer plants it. It will grow to provide them a beautiful tree. Now at the nurseries, we have several seed orchards. We try to grow a lot of the product that we plant at the nurseries. For instance, we have wild plum at the John P. Rhodey Nursery that we collect. We try to collect all the plum that we are going to put in the fields to produce the seedlings that we would like to sell. We also do Kentucky coffee tree. Hazelnut at the Morgan County Nursery, we started that up probably about 10 years ago. It is producing all the seed that we grow at the nurseries for hazelnut. We do have some problems with the hazelnut, which I'll show you a little bit later in this slideshow, but we are producing a lot of hazelnut. Also, roughleaf dogwood is a nice, pretty dogwood, grows in wet areas. We have a orchard at both John P. Rhodey and Morgan County, and we collect all the seed that we grow at the nurseries from the roughleaf dogwood. Pawpaw, we have a nice orchard there at the John P. Rhodey. It grows pawpaws. All the pawpaw seed that we collect, we plant nurseries to provide seedlings to ship out to our customers. As you can see, some of the pawpaws that we collect are fairly large. They all taste good. What's pretty neat about it is, on average, each pawpaw has about the same amount of seed in it. So if you have a small pawpaw, it's going to have 5 to 7. A large pawpaw may have 5 to 9, but on average, it's about the same amount of seed. So about the same size of seed. The only difference is there's a lot more fruit involved around that seed. We do have a nice American chestnut mother orchard at the Morgan County Tree Nursery. We work with the American Chestnut Foundation to try to help bring back the American chestnut to basically America. And this is a Kentucky strain of American chestnut. It was planted back in 2005. We collected up on Pine Mountain in southeastern Kentucky, and we had a person that was running that area helping. He helped find the American chestnuts and plant there. Right now, we are managing a small mother orchard to be able to pollinate with the pollen from a American chestnut that is blight resistance and hopefully produce seed. And in 5 to 10 years, we're hoping to have seed that's coming in that we can actually plant at the nurseries and have it out for people to purchase. So it's a long process. We're working toward it. We're hoping we see a light at the end of the tunnel. So fingers crossed. But this is the American chestnut orchard there at the Morgan County Tree Nursery. Not just from the orchards do we collect seed. We have to go out and collect seed in a lot of places throughout Kentucky. This is several examples of what we have seed. We have white oak. A lot of times we'll head to some cemeteries and pick up the white oak because the area is mowed. It's nice, easy to collect. The top picture there is persimmon seed. We collect it on the John P. Rhodey and around western Kentucky. That's a picture of a white oak seed that's not fully developed yet. Once they're developed and ready to drop off the tree, they will turn a brown color, kind of like you see on the right side of the picture. That is a white oak where it has its radicle out. It is ready to go. It's wanting to put that root down in the ground, start growing, and next spring it should pop up and start germinating and giving a nice seedling. At the nursery process is what we have. We have fumigation, which is on your left there. It's a process that we go through each year. They prepare the ground for planting. Fumigation is used to kill nematodes, it kills fungus. It's also used to kill a lot of the weed seed that's in the ground. We usually do this in September. We're getting ready to do it here in the next 2 weeks. So looking forward to getting that over with. Another process we do a lot of seed testing. We have to make sure we know what we're going to grow and how it's going to germinate. So on all the oaks, we go through and do a cut test. We cut a percentage of the seed to see which ones are good and which ones are bad. So as you can see there, we have several on that's on the left side that are real nice and good, and then some that's on the right side that have been either have rot started in the seed or weevil has gotten in there and started eating that seed. That's one of the problems we have when we're trying to collect seed and plant seed is the weevils like to eat the insides of the seed out. So we just need to know how much seed to plant to achieve our goal of growing a nice shippable seedling. Then we have the planting process, which you see the picture up there in the top right-hand corner. That's our machine planter. We're planting oak at that time, putting it in the field. It's a slow process, but when you're dealing with planting close to 25,000 seed in a 4-foot wide and 500-foot long bed, it's a lot easier doing it with a machine than it is doing by hands. And we have done it by hand many times. And then as the seedlings are growing, we have to make sure it keeps it watered. We like to get about an inch, inch and a half to 2 inches of water on the seedlings each week. So if we have a dry spell, we fire up the irrigation. Most of the time, seedlings grow a lot better when we have nature provides the rain for us. Irrigation kind of sustains the seedlings so they can make it through the drought. And also the irrigation helps wash off any chemicals or fertilizer that we put on the plants so it doesn't burn the plants. Nursery setbacks. Now, we have several things that happen at the nurseries. One, predators, as you can see a squirrel right there, and loving to eat on those acorns. Weather, this is a picture of a tornado went through Morgan County back in 2012. There's not much left of it, but weather is a big factor on setbacks at the nursery. And then insects and fungus. As you can see, here's a leaf spot on some of these seedlings here. So we try, for example, here's some examples of wildlife problems. We got birds. Birds love to eat seeds. We always are fighting crows, even though that's a blue jay. But we're always fighting crows at the nurseries. They love to eat white oak. They'll eat hazelnuts. They'll actually take the walnut seed out of the ground and break it open and eat the seed right out. Deer obviously loves to eat the seed also. So we're always fighting the deer to try to keep them back. And then turkey, they also come in sometimes, take the seed up. Most of the times we have problems with turkey is they get to our seed trees that we have to collect the seed. They'll eat the seed up before we get to them. Now, I like wildlife, so we try to do our best to keep these predators out. One thing we do at the John P. Rhodey Nursery, as you can see in the left hand, we have a pair of eagles there. We plant seed in certain areas that we know squirrels love, but the squirrels have to go out in the open, and the eagles kind of help us keep the squirrels at bay. So we try to manage where we're planting the seed. We also have a fence around both of the nurseries that keep the deer out and try to keep the turkeys and things out like that also. On the weather, nowadays we're having the biggest problem is erosion at the nursery. So we use a cover crop. We try to keep all areas that are bare either covered in mulch or a cover crop to keep the erosion down. Lately, if you've noticed the amount of rain we get, it usually doesn't come in a nice, easy drizzle. It comes in 2 to 3 inches in about 15 to 20 minutes. So erosion is a large problem we have at both of the nurseries, but we try to keep that cover crop going. And then we also have spraying. We spray for insects and disease and fungus, and that's basically the only way we can keep the insect and disease away at this time. On to the order form. We have an order form. This is an example. We've changed a few things. Deliveries. Delivery has a different price compared to pickup at the nursery. There is a slight discount if people want to pick up at the nursery. We do have a different on the species. This order form here is good for anybody that wants to pay with a check. If anybody wants to pick up their trees, or if they have an order over 10,000, we'll possibly give them a discount. The QR code right there, if anybody wants that, I'll have it at the end of the presentation of the next presentation. That takes you to the website that will take you to our seedling store or a copy of this form. Here's the species we had this year. Some of these species, we only have large stock. So, and large stock is only available to pick up at the nurseries because it is too large for us to ship out. But here are a few of the species. These species are on the order form. So if you want to download or your order form, you're more welcome to. We update this every week because we do sell out. So there are some species that are sold out. For instance, red bud flowering dogwood, one or two quick ones that we sell out pretty quick. And once again, the map of the states, the 2 nurseries are the only places you can do pickups. The reason we do that is we want to make sure the seedlings stay in the cooler for the period. If we had to send them out to one of the branch offices for somebody to pick up, they might be out of the cooler, they might be in the garage or in the office for several days before the customer can pick them up. So we're trying to keep the seedlings as fresh as possible. So the window of planting can be extended out to a week to 2 weeks. And then that's basically the big process of doing the tree nurseries. That's the information that we have. And this is the new Morgan County Tree Nursery. It was built back in 2014. You saw a picture of the tornado. There was nothing left, but now we have a nice, beautiful building. And every morning the rainbow's over top of it. So it's always a great place to be.
Thank you for that. We greatly appreciate that. And you now have, though, a new way to order trees. Is that right?
Yes, I do.
So this is a new thing. You're debuting it right here. So Renee, we've got an exclusive on From the Woods today.
Exactly.
Yes. This is a new online store that we have been working on for 4 or 5 years now. For about 5 years, we have finally got it up and running. So I'm gonna walk you all through it and kind of show you how you do it. Everybody can see this okay?
Yep.
Okay. So as you can see, we have several species that are already out of stock. We have those marked down as out of stock seedlings because when we stock the store, we do it with a percentage of seedlings that we have in the field. We can't do 100% count. So we only put a percentage up on for sale. When we sell out, it's only sold out until the springtime. Once we're able to go out and lift the seedlings and do 100% inventory of those seedlings, there's a possibility that some of these sold out seedlings will come available again, and we will restock the store when that comes about. Up here at the top, you have email us, questions about sales, questions about seedlings, questions about your order. You can click on that and it will send an email to there's 5 of us that collect this email, myself, Joanna, and several other people above me will get these emails and we can answer your questions or help you any way possible. We try to check the email 3 to 4 times a day. When this site came live on September 1st, we basically were running through and answering. We had about 30 to 40 emails pop up pretty quick. So we worked our way through it and kept that email up and going and trying to get into questions as soon as possible because we didn't want anything to sell out when somebody's waiting on an answer from us. So when you're going through the system, you want to try to look around. You find what you want. Let's go and let's order a Northern Red Oak. So you want to click on Northern Red Oak. So then we move to this process where it's Northern Red Oak, gives a little description. You have several pictures you can go by, you can look at them. There's the bark. We got the seed of the Northern Red Oak and then the leaf of the Northern Red Oak. If you want, you can log in. I'm gonna log in real quick. So all my stuff is saved. There it is. Okay, so I'm logged in now. So I'm gonna order. You go down, select your bundle. We have bundles of 10 for $45. That's the shipping and everything. Bundles of 50 for $85 and bundles of 100 for $100. So I'm on to, I'd like a bundle of 100 and I think I'm gonna do 3. So 300 seedlings of Northern Red Oak's gonna come through. Sales purpose, we have several things you can choose from. Most are gonna be either private land or cost share. So mine's just gonna be a private land. I can look at the pricing information or more information about this tree. And then we want to add that to my cart. I've already went in here and did swamp chestnut also. So on my cart, I have this shows what I've ordered. 100 bundle. I have 300 of the Northern Red Oak and 200 of the swamp chestnut. Or yes, swamp chestnut. Shows the prices, so I'm looking at 500 for those. I proceed to check out. At any time, if you have any questions when you're placing the order, you can always hit email us, and it will bring up a website, not a website, but an email that you can send your questions in. First thing when you're checking out, you always want to do a preference, delivery preference. So as you can see here, we start delivering in January. and we deliver all the way through April 30th. What this does for us is it helps us manage our lifting window. So like I was talking about the flowering dogwood has about 3-week window to be able to be planted. So back in the field for the customer. So if you choose, February 1st through February 15th, the orders will be processed and shipped out between February 1st and February 15th. Now, sometimes we're dealing with weather problems. For instance, in Kentucky, we all love the weather, but the weather changes very quickly. So we can be the ground totally froze in January where we can't get anything lifted. So that pushes everything that was supposed to be delivered in January back to February. So there is problems sometimes with trying to meet these shipping windows that you all have chosen. A lot of times we'll try to contact you if your shipment does not show up when it's supposed to. You can contact one of the branch offices that was on the map earlier, or you can contact just the Division of Forestry, and most calls will come directly to me, and I'll be able to help you out. So where I have my account open, I have my shipping address all saved in here to make it easier, but you need to put in the shipping address and emails. The one thing about this system is you have to have an email. Emails, you can get one online. Gmails, everything. I think they're all free, but it's just a way that we can contact you and keep up with you and things like that. And plus, it's kind of how it saves the order. It saves the order with the email. There's some things we're trying new on this to where when the order is shipped out, it's supposed to be sending you an email letting you know the order will be there in 1 to 2 days, because usually it's only a 2-day shipping from either nursery to the location of the delivery address. So this is an important area. You want to make sure, one, credit card, because the order will not be processed unless it's paid for. The online system is credit card only. We don't do checks or anything like that. So it's just totally credit card only. And all orders that are placed online will be shipped. There is no pickup option. If you do decide you want to pick up your order, you can always place an order through one of the branches or mail in your order form. So you want to check. You got the summary here. You want to make sure that your order is correct. As you can see, there's sales tax added to it. So we got $530 for 500 trees. I'm not going to put my credit card information in because I really don't want to give that out to you all. So sorry, I apologize for that. But I am going to open up another site that kind of shows you what the order will look like. So once you place your order, this page will pop up. This is for an order that we're testing. Sorry, it's a little blurry, but this is your receipt. So you have two options. You have a print option or an email option, or you can do both. You can print this page off, keep it for your records, and then you can come back and email this to yourself, so you have it as an electronic copy. Those are very important. We've had a lot of people ask questions. I think I've gone through the process, but I have no information or no idea of what I've ordered. So always make sure you either print it or email it to yourself. And even if you're doing this, doing an order on a cell phone, you still can email yourself a copy of this receipt. And I do recommend everybody doing that. When you click on the email, you'll have to enter your email address. We don't have it to where it automatically populates yet. And this is your receipt. And then we will basically get the order. We'll put it in our system to where we know when to lift the seedlings, get everything ready. Once everything's ready, we'll print your order up there at the nursery. We'll fill it and ship it out. It is going to be shipped out UPS this year. UPS is really good for overnight shipping, basically. So it will come straight to you. All in-state shipping is included in the price of the seedling. If you're an out-of-state customer, out-of-state does have a little extra charge to it just because it costs a little bit more once it goes across the state line. So there's a 10-pack will cost you an extra $5. A 50-pack will cost you an extra $10, and then a 20-pack will cost you an extra $20. Oh, not 20 pack, my fault. 100 pack will cost you an extra $20. So that shipping will be added on at the end, and that's per package. That's not per order. It's last year was a tough year on shipping from the nurseries, and the last couple of years have been a very tough year with the nurseries due to the pandemic. So this year we're looking forward to it. We have some new help, new personnel coming in. We have this new online orders. It's an exciting time, so we're looking forward to it a great deal. And so if anybody has any questions about the online order, just click that to contact us. We will get answer your email. And or if you need to, just call the Division of Forestry. All calls will come toward me, and I'll try to answer anything I can.
Okay, so is there a minimum amount of trees that you actually can get?
There's a minimum. We sell trees, one species in a 10-pack bundle is the smallest amount that you can order. We also sell in 50-pack bundles and 100-pack bundles. So you can order 10 or you can order 100,000. So we will take
Wow.
either way.
It's a big range there, Charlie.
Yes. We really enjoy having a lot of 100 bundles ordered. The 100,000 bundles are, the 100,000 orders are pretty tough to get ready in a one-time pickup, but we work our best to get everything done.
Oh man, you all did great work.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
How do you actually get the seedlings out of the ground? Like if you were to have, I don't know, somebody comes in and says, I need 100 white oak trees. How do you don't literally just, or do you?
We basically almost literally just pull them out. We have a machine that's a lifter. It goes through and cuts the roots off about 8 to 10 inches into the ground. And then it shakes the seedling to knock all the dirt off. And then we have crews that come in, pick those seedlings up, take them inside the building to process them to where they count them and sort out the best ones. And then we package them up in bundles of 10, 50, or 100, depending on what the orders are. We have a large cooler at the Morgan County Nursery. We have a smaller one at John P. Rhodey, but they can hold up to 100,000 or 250,000 seedlings.
That's a lot of baby trees.
And how long do they last in the
Depending on the species, we have some species like flowering dogwood. It will only last in the cooler for 2 to 3 weeks, but we can have white pine or one of the oaks, white oak, northern red oaks. They will last up to 2 months in the cooler.
wow.
So it's a process to where if somebody orders a delicate species like flowering dogwood, we have to time the window to lift the seedlings to be able to get them packaged and out to the customer within a 2 to 3 week window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of coordination has to go on there for sure.
Yes, it does.
So do you just plant native trees?
We try to do all native trees. Sometimes there is a few that we were growing. Sawtooth oak is one that we tried for a while. It's not really native. The 2012 tornado took out our orchard, so we did not plant that back, so we knocked that off. But yes, they are for the most part native to Kentucky. All the seed that's collected is either in Kentucky or the surrounding states from Kentucky. We do buy a lot from different vendors. There are certain species that are collected from a little bit further south than we'd like, but there are species that handle our weather very nicely, so we don't have any problems. And we've been doing it for many years, so we haven't had anything pop up to where the seed that we're purchasing a little further south is causing any problems at this time. But we try our best to try to source the seed with the surrounding states or inside the Kentucky.
What kind of, is it labor intensive to plant all those seeds? I mean, what kind of time do you have in each tree seedling?
For example, white oak. White oaks are good. Everybody knows what a white oak looks like. It's one of the first oaks that we try to plant. It usually drops the 1st of October. It starts growing right when it hits the ground. So those radicals start coming out the bottom. So it's a time sensitive for us. We have to get in the cooler to make sure it basically slows down on growing those radicals. And then we have to get in the ground. So we try to plant at the over top of, all of Kentucky planting, we try to plant about 8,000 pounds of white oak. 8,000 pounds of white oak will take, if we had all the seed at one time, we can get it in within a day or two. But as you know, nature, the seed don't drop all at once. So As they drop, we go out and collect, or the vendors that we use go out and collect the seed. So we'll get a shipment of 1,500 pounds come in on Monday that we're gonna need to stick in the cooler, and hopefully get a window that week to put that in the field and get it planted. If not, we just store all the seed in the cooler until we get a window to where we can plant that has to be fairly dry. And once we get that window, we'll be able to do our cut test, figure out how much to plant and put it in the ground. Now, doing it with a mechanic, doing it with the machine, we can travel a 500-foot long bed in about 185 to 190 seconds. So it takes a little bit, to get through that bed and get it planted, but it works pretty good.
Still pretty quick.
It is. It goes pretty quick. Now, we did have a White Oak Genetic project that's going on at the Morgan County Tree Nursery, and this year's a big year for that. That is all planted by hand. So when you're planting a 500-foot long bed by hand, it usually takes probably about 3.5 hours. So it's a lot slower process.
Charlie, not only do you all raise tree seedlings, you can help landowners select the appropriate tree seedlings for their property. You've got foresters that can come out and help them, get that tree planting set up and established. So really, you all can take it from the very beginning, from a little bitty seed to help somebody all the way through that tree's life until we, turn it into some useful products. So, I'd encourage our viewers out there, if you're thinking about a tree planting, especially more than a couple of trees, make sure you're working with your natural resource professionals. They can really help you a lot, making sure you're getting good trees for the right site.
Yes, and I mean, that's a good, with the Kentucky Division of Forestry, we can start out with a stewardship plan for the property, and you can work your way through what you want to plant, how to plant it, and then once you've got everything planted, you can work through management all the way up to harvest. So I mean, you can have a 100-year plan for a piece of property. It will take it from seedling to timber that you're taking down. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so work with your foresters. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you.
Yes.
Yeah. We have a question if someone's looking for for a hedge. Do you have any?
And so an arborvitae was mentioned as well.
Yeah.
Yes, we do mostly trees and shrubs that we do are for wildlife or reestablishing an area that's been either a floods area, or we don't really deal with logging sites, because when you log a place, it's usually going to regenerate what's out there. You're going to get stump sprouts, but areas that need to be a riparian area need to be replanted, things like that. We don't have ornamentals in the sense like yews or anything like that, or Japanese maple. We don't do Japanese maple, we do sugar maple, but a lot of the trees that we do grow, they are okay to grow in a landscape setting, but you always want to check with your power company. You never want to plant a tree that's too large to go into a site. You don't want to plant a northern red oak underneath the power line, or a white pine underneath the power line. The red buds, dogwoods, silky dogwoods are the best ones to go there. But for a hedge site, you can do a hedge of silky dogwood. So you can do, 15 to 20 silky dogwood planted together within 4 or 5 feet apart, and within several years you'll have an area you won't be able to see through in the summertime. Now in the winter they will lose their leaves, so whatever you didn't want to see in the summertime hopefully looks better in the wintertime.
Oh man, Charlie, it's good stuff. The Kentucky Division of Forestry is such an important agency here in the state, and a big thanks to all of you all for what you do. I mean, we've got 12.5 million acres of woodlands here in Kentucky. Most of it's privately owned, and without the Division of Forestry out there helping these landowners and these other owners get the most out of it, we'd be in a lot rougher shape. So I just wanted to thank you and the agency for all that you all do.
Thank you all, and we really enjoy working with the public, and we appreciate everything you all do for us at UK.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Right.
Speaking of teamwork, thanks, Charlie.
One of our team members. Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate you, buddy.
One of our team members is up next. We have Dr. Ellen Crocker. She's going to be talking about those pesky plants.
Hey, Dr. Crocker.
Hey there! Unfortunately, we've got another pesky plant to talk about this week. There's no shortage of invasive plants out there, but this is one that I've been seeing a lot more of, especially in some of our urban areas in Kentucky. And I have a feeling it's going to spread pretty rapidly into some other sites, and that's porcelain berry.
All right.
All right,
So, and
Ellen.
Yeah, I'm looking
no,
forward to the video.
No,
well,
we do appreciate it, really.
and what I hope is that if you can get it on your radar early, if you see it popping up in some news site, that you'll be able to just pull out those little seedlings versus having to deal with it once it's spread. It's really hard to do once it's completely carpeting an area, as I'm sure you've got kind of a mental image in your mind of some other vines that do that in the state. And so I'll show a video that just talks a little bit about porcelain berry, what it looks like, and a little bit on how to distinguish it from some lookalikes, as well as some management options there.
All right, sounds good.
Are you noticing a new vine taking over? It could be porcelain berry, an invasive plant that's rapidly becoming a big problem in our area. While it looks a little bit like our native grapevine, porcelain berry has some key differences. It is really aggressive and can take over. Today we're going to learn a little bit about porcelain berry, what it is, how to identify it, and what you can do about it. The leaves of porcelain berry can be quite variable. Even on the same plant, leaves might look very different. Some might be really lobed, maybe 3-lobed or 5-lobed. Some are going to be heart-shaped, and this can be tricky because there can be other plants that look similar. Either way, those leaves are going to be alternate each other, and those margins are going to have some coarse serrations on them, and the leaves are simple, not compound. Although they might be deeply lobed, those are going to be simple leaves. The flowers of porcelain berry are small and not very distinctive, a light green to white color, but it's the berries that really steal the show and are really distinctive. These round fruits come in a range of different shades. They start out green and they will develop different pastel colors, from pink to purple to blue with speckles on them. The flowers and then the berries are held in clusters, and they have a long stem or panicle. They also are held upwards. Although it's in the same family as our native grapevine, there are some key differences that can help you with ID. The leaves are slightly different on porcelain berry compared to our native grape. The bark does not have the shredded texture that our native grapevine has, and those berries are going to be kind of held upright in clusters compared to our native grape, where those clusters hang downward. Porcelain berry is native to Asia. It was introduced repeatedly as an ornamental plant, and you can find it in pockets throughout the US. Particularly, it's a problem in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, as well as some of the upper Midwest. Increasingly, though, we're seeing it in Kentucky, especially in northern Kentucky and central Kentucky, where it's already a big problem. If you look at the predicted future range of porcelain berry, it's likely to spread to a lot of other places in the future, throughout the state and beyond. While it might start out in people's yards as an ornamental, it certainly doesn't stay put there. Porcelain berry likes rich, moist soils, and it craves the sun, so you're most likely to see it in edges, old fields, and on stream sides. Why is porcelain berry considered a problem? Well, first off, it can grow really fast. Some reports put it at growing over 25 feet a year. And those vines can carpet over other vegetation, particularly the native plants that you want to be seeing. You're not going to see that if you just have a thick blanket of porcelain berry. Not only is it growing really densely and crowding out those native species, but it spreads really rapidly. It produces lots of seeds. Those seeds can be carried by birds to new areas, or they can float downstream if it's growing on a stream side. As with any invasive plant, managing porcelainberry takes patience and persistence. By far, the easiest thing to do is to prevent it from becoming a problem to begin with. So don't let it get established. If you can get ahead of it and scout for new infestations and remove them before they spread, that is much easier. Those small vines can be pulled up easily. Just make sure you get that whole root system, otherwise they will sprout right back from it. Now, once that infestation is a little bit further along, that can be hard to do. Those root systems can be extensive. And instead, you might be looking at some systemic herbicides. There's a couple different ways to do this. There are a number of herbicides that are effective against porcelainberry, including some of those commonly used in a forestry setting, like those containing glyphosate and triclopyr. In addition, porcelainberry can still be found for sale as an ornamental plant. Don't buy this. Instead, consider a lot of our native vines. While porcelainberry might look nice and those berries are attractive, it won't stay put in your yard. It will take that over, and then it will move into natural areas. Another thing to consider when managing porcelainberry is those seeds. You don't want to inadvertently spread porcelainberry while you're trying to get rid of it. So most management is best done when those plants aren't setting seed. If you can pull them up earlier in the year, that's a great strategy. But if they are setting seed while you're doing it, you want to make sure you're not composting those seeds, but that you're throwing them away and you're not spreading them to new sites. Thanks for joining me today and learning a little bit more about porcelainberry. If you'd like to learn more, make sure to check us out online and follow us on social media. Thanks for doing your part to promote the health of your woods.
Well, Ellen, a lot of those little berries, they kind of looked like little bird eggs, or I was thinking like Easter eggs, just small, because they're really pretty. I can see why people, kind of like that, but
Definitely.
no.
You can see why they're planted, why someone might plant them, and they stick out. I remember visiting a park with my daughter who was like, look at these cool berries. They're such neat colors, picking them all, throwing them into the water so they float downstream. And, while I don't think children are the main vector, main spreader of porcelainberry, they are really eye-catching, and you're likely to notice them when they're fruiting, like right now and later this fall. So they do kind of fruit over a longer period of time. If you find a porcelainberry right now in the late summer, you can find flowers on it, you can find green berries, you can find these like brightly colored different berries, and that'll continue for several months. I think they stick out right now, and so it's a good time, especially if you're trying to figure out, is this porcelainberry or is this something else? It's a good time to be looking. They do look, as Billy mentioned, a lot like our grapevine at kind of first glance. And we even have another plant in the same genus that's native here, but I have never seen it the way that I have seen porcelainberry taking over places. And certainly porcelainberry is the more common one in our area. But some of those characteristics that I mentioned earlier, there's that variable leaf form, but also the fact that the bark, it's not all shreddy like grapevine. And if you were to cut into the stem, I'll ask our resident foresters here, what color is our native grapevine in the pith inside? Does anyone recall? It should be and if you know it, you can put it in the chat. It should be a kind of a darker color, a brown color, whereas the porcelainberry should be a lighter color. So that's another thing you can do. Those fruits really stick out. Like, that's distinctive in my mind, as well as the fact that they're kind of held upwards. They don't hang down. And if you're comparing it to our native kind of Ampelopsis, the native plant vine in that genus, the shoots of the porcelainberry are kind of hairy. They've got, even the fine shoots have little hairs on them.
How would you manage it with like herbicides and things like that?
Yeah, so it's tricky, because if you think back to some of those photos I showed, it grows in this carpet that's like lots of layers over the top of each other. So while you can use a foliar herbicide, you might not get all of those layers. You're going to get that topmost layer. In addition, if it's growing over something you want to keep, You don't want to negatively impact that. So kind of in combination with that foliar herbicide spray or as a preparation, you could try pulling that off, kind of cutting those vines so you can find where it's growing from. And you could either kind of cut those vines and spray those small little stumps with an herbicide, or you could do a foliar spray on the kind of newer shoots when those emerge and have grown a little bit. Something to kind of let you see what's going on underneath there.
Yeah.
Where I've seen it the most in our area is along train tracks, edges, disturbed areas, as well as some of those kind of streams. It likes light and disturbance.
Wow. Well, Ellen, thank you for bringing it to our attention, and our viewers for sure. I mean, yeah, we want to catch it while it's little and not big.
Yeah, you can see pulling it up. You can see even how big those roots were for those tiny little ones. But yeah, if you can catch it, then it's a lot easier.
Thanks for keeping us and our forests as healthy as you can. We really appreciate all the work out of your lab. It's critical work you do.
Thanks, and thanks for inviting me on today.
Appreciate it. Well, Billy, you know, we've learned a thing or two today.
We did, yeah. We saw some good progress on the Kentucky Division of Forestry. Now you can get your tree seedlings online, you know, so we encourage people to, you know, take advantage of that amazing resource. And again, don't forget, you know, if you are thinking about a tree planting, talk to your natural resource professionals that are out there. They can help you think through it. You know, if you're going to do it, we want you to be successful at it. And you go in well informed, you got a better chance of being successful. And then please keep an eye out for that porcelain berry, please, out there, so we don't have it all over the state.
Don't want another bush honeysuckle kind of event.
We got enough little creatures coming in and taking over, so we need to be vigilant against them. Yeah, no doubt.
Definitely. Well, you know, if you want to go back and, you know, really study what we talked about today, you can always go to fromthewoodstoday.com. All of our shows, our past shows, are on there, and if you have any suggestions for a show, you can actually look on that and fill out a survey as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And we've actually featured things from, you know, that survey before on the show. So let us know what you're seeing. You see anything cool in your woods, take a picture. You can upload that as well. So
definitely. But, you know, so we're done for today, but we will see you again next week at 11 o'clock. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
From the woods today.